2, 1. All right. Hello and welcome. Hello and welcome, and thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much, and welcome to another episode of the Empowered Immigrant Live. I am Otis Landerholm, and I'm the founding attorney here at Landerholm Immigration, A.P.C., where we fight for your American dream. And today our topic is, where is my waiver? All right, so we're going to talk about waivers today. And it is the 30th of November of 2023 is the day I'm recording this. And so, I want to talk about waivers, and I'm really excited to be here with you. Thank you all so much for joining me today on our episode of the Empowered Immigrant Live. Remember that the Empowered Immigrant Live is here to train, teach, inspire, and empower immigrants to maximize their options, their lives, their success under immigration law, but also in their personal life. And so, I believe in people. I believe in immigrants. I'm here to empower the immigrant community as much as I possibly can. All right? That's what we're up to at the Empowered Immigrant Live. So thank you so much for tuning in. Today our theme is, where is my waiver? And my question before we get into that theme is, hey, do you want to get a green card? Do you want to come out of the shadows? Do you want to at least see what your options are? Because if so, I'd love to help you with that, right? My firm is on a mission to win 10,000 immigration cases in the next 10 years. We would love for your case to be one of them, all right? Now, as I'm talking, if you have questions, please feel free to submit your questions. We're live, so I'll take them. I'll do my best to answer any question that we receive live, and we'll jump in. All right. So I always start with a small empowerment tip. My tip this morning is to examine our commitments. Okay, like, where in your life do you want to be more committed? And I assert that I believe that if you want more success in your life, examine your commitments, and really you can become more committed. In my experience, like, I'm 100% committed to immigration law, right? There are lots of lawyers out there that dabble, if you know what I mean, practice a little bit of immigration law and a little bit of criminal law and a little bit of civil law and, other stuff. And for me, when people are doing a lot of different pursuits, they're less successful, all right? Because it's hard to develop expertise in one specific area when you're devoting your time to lots of different areas. That's just my opinion, and that's the way I see it. And I want to say that that's one of the reasons that I've achieved the levels of success that I have, at least to this point. All right? I'm also very, very committed in my relationships. And I don't have a million relationships. I have a few. Like, if you know my friendships, right? It's like, and if you know my relationship with my wife, Wendy, it's like I don't want people to fear commitment. And if you want a greater level of success in a specific area of your life, consider taking on a higher level of commitment, and you might be shocked at the quality of the results that you get in that area. Okay? So anyway, I wanted to share that today. That's my empowerment tip today. Hope it's useful. Hope it's helpful. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Whether you're on YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn, thank you and welcome. Again, my name's Otis Landerholm. I'm the founding attorney here at Landerholm Immigration, A.P.C., where we fight for your American dream. So now I'm going to get into the topic of waivers. And so pop quiz, everybody. Pop quiz. What is a waiver? All right? Does anybody know what a waiver is? Send me something in the chat. If give me a wave, give me a thumbs up or something if you know what a waiver is. So here's the deal, all right? When you apply for a green card, when you apply for an immigration benefit, if you have a problem in your case, if you have a issue that makes you quote unquote inadmissible, all right, sometimes the law as written makes you requires a person to file a waiver to forgive or waive an inadmissibility ground. Okay, so what are some common issues that require waivers? Well, immigration fraud is a very common issue. Sometimes it's not when people even. Sometimes there was zero intent, right? Sometimes it's just an allegation that there was a material misrepresentation made to immigration, like a willful misrepresentation made for an immigration benefit. So that's immigration fraud. That requires a waiver. Some certain criminal records require waivers. Quote unquote crimes involving moral turpitude are waivable, but you have to file a waiver to get them waived. Okay? Unlawful presence, entry without inspection, right, is a common issue that requires a waiver. Deportations in the past requires waivers. There are others, right? Alien smuggling is in certain instances waivable. So there are different inadmissibility grounds that are waivable and that require waivers. Also, just to make it more complicated, there are also different forms for waivers. So when lawyers get together and we talk about waivers, we're talking about the forms that we've submitted that now we have in process for our clients. So we talk about an I-601 waiver, or an I-601A waiver, or an I-602 waiver, or an I-212 waiver, or an I-192 waiver. Those are 5 different forms, applications, which are submitted in different contexts, and the proper form depends on 2 things. It first depends on which inadmissibility ground we're trying to waive, and second, it depends on which legal process we're going through, right? So for example, if you're going through a U visa or a T visa process, the correct waiver is on Form I-192. Whereas if you're going through a family-based green card process, the correct waiver is likely the I-601, or if it's only unlawful presence, it's the I-601A. All right? If you're an asylee going through a green card application process, the waiver is the I-602. If you're waiving a deportation, it's an I-212 waiver. All right? If you're filing for TPS and you have inadmissibility issues with your TPS application, the proper waiver is the I-601. You know, it's like you gotta know. You want to work with a lawyer. Let me say it like this. All right? You want to work with a lawyer that knows all of them, because they're all very similar, but you got to do the right one or it messes your case up. All right? The right one, or sometimes multiple, because depending on the process and depending on the inadmissibility ground that applies in your situation will depend on which of the legal routes are recommendable to get your case approved, or at least to maximize your chances of success in your case. Okay? So really, you want to do this with a lawyer, all right? Don't file waivers on your own. It's a mistake, all right? Many people have come and hired me and my firm to help them after their first waiver got denied when they tried to do it on their own. Like, I don't want that for you. But also, when you're working with a lawyer, make sure that they understand all the different inadmissibility grounds, which ones are waivable, how to waive them, depending on which process you're going through, because all of these details matter, and it's like every single case becomes different depending on which step of the process you're in. Okay? So I wanted to just be really clear about that. I hope that's useful and helpful for people. So now it's like, okay, where's my waiver, right? That's the topic for today. Waiver cases are taking a long time right now, all right? And so much so that there are lawsuits that are being filed suing the government for how slow they are taking. To give you an idea, right now, on like 5 minutes before our show right now, I looked it up on uscis.gov. You can look up current processing times, all right? You can put in the different forms for the waiver, all right? To give you an idea, I-601 waivers, which are very common waivers, on today's date, according to USCIS, they're saying that 80% of all I-601 cases are approved within 21.5 months. 21 and a half months. 80% of them are. 20% take longer. Okay? And that's just on today's date. It'll probably be different the next time, some people will see this video later, next week or something. That those dates can be in flux. They do change. But that's still a long time, almost a 2-year process. If we compare that to the I-601A, which is perhaps the one of the most common, I think it probably is the most common, waiver pending in front of USCIS right now, but it's taking the longest. Right now, today's date, USCIS says that 80% of cases are completed within 44 months. 44 months, so almost 4 years of a delay for an I-601 to get approved. An I-601A to get approved. Okay? And so that's where the waivers are. They're waiting on a desk of a USCIS officer, waiting, they're going through them one case at a time, slowly but surely. Why does it take so long? The reason it takes so long, more or less, is the same reason that you really want a lawyer who knows what they're doing. Waivers are complicated, all right? You can't just fill out the form and send it off and hope to get it approved. It'll be denied, okay? The way to do it is you submit the form with a legal argument, a written cover letter explaining the inadmissibility issues, explaining the process, explaining why we're eligible for a waiver, and then attaching evidence that you would work together with your lawyer to piece together, to demonstrate your legal eligibility to fix, to forgive, to waive whatever inadmissibility ground applies in your situation. Okay? That's the right way to do it. It makes waiver applications large. It makes the preparation of them very, very important, nuanced, and time-intensive. And it makes the review of them by the government delayed. It takes a long time. All right? You got to focus and really review everything to make a good, real determination as to whether or not, this waiver is going to be approved. Anyway, that's what I wanted to say today. I hope this is useful. Was it useful? I hope so. I do have a question, or I did receive a question. Adriana Flores, thank you and welcome. Thank you so much for asking your question. And if anyone else has a question, feel free to submit it. So let's see. You say, if I entered in 2019 with 2 children asking for asylum and then left for Mexico before receiving a response from the court because my mother was sick, can I re-enter with the CBP One app I didn't see anything. I didn't sign anything, and I left by the plane. Okay, problem. All right. When you left, you quote unquote deported yourself. All right. When you left, you quote unquote deported yourself. Plus, asylum, the whole idea of asylum is when you apply for asylum, you're saying that your life is in danger in your country. And so now if you've gone back to Mexico while your case was pending, they'll be like, no, they'll say, they're very likely, they'll say, sorry, you are not eligible for asylum. Okay. Now that's my initial, I don't know all the details, right? I don't know all the details. If you would, I would invite you to give us a call, schedule a consultation. I'd be more than happy, right, to really understand. Maybe there's something new that has happened since you left, that now your life is in danger like never before, and maybe you would have new arguments, fresh arguments in support of an asylum application. That's potentially a different situation. And there are other factors involved too. Did you leave on advanced parole? There's other things. When did you leave? How long have you been out? Typically speaking, though, if you're fighting for asylum, especially if you're in immigration court, do not leave the United States while your case is pending. It's a huge disaster for your immigration case. Okay? I think that's all the questions that I've got. Adriana, thank you so much for asking your question. Thank you for it, and thank you for being here with us today. I really appreciate it. And anyone else there, really, thank you. Thank you so much for being here with me. And so if this was useful, if this was helpful, please take a moment, go to our YouTube channel, hit the subscribe button. When you do that, click the notifications bell, and you can get a notification anytime we upload an additional video with updates, news, things of that nature. And as always, if you have an immigration case, right, please give us a call. We are here to help. We would love to help. And that's really it for today. If you speak Spanish, si habla español, if you speak Spanish, I will be starting this episode in Spanish in just a moment. And so join us again in just a moment, and I'll do this in Spanish. And in the meantime, hey, if anyone else has any questions, please send them in. I'll do my best to answer them. I'll upload those answers to our YouTube channel, or I can discuss them on our next episode of the Empowered Immigrant Live. We do have 2 shows, everybody. They're at 10 a.m. and 10:30 on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So tune in, all right? And those times are Pacific Standard Time, PST. I just got a question. Jesus, thank you. You said, what is your question? I just lost it, just had it in front of me. How long does VAWA take to be approved? Okay. Let me find it. VAWA is the I-360. Current processing times. Let's see here. Sorry, the website's giving me trouble. Bear with me. I'll do my best to answer that question right here, right now. The USCIS website is not working very well right at the moment. That happens sometimes. Scrolling down. Check processing times. Form I-360. VAWA case. All service centers. Get processing times. Right now it says, on today's date, the 30th of November, 2023, it says that 80% of I-360 VAWA applications are completed within 36 months. 36 months, that's 3 years, everybody, for a VAWA case. So that's where we're at. Everyone, thank you all so much for joining me today. Jesus is Lord. your question. Thank you for asking it. I appreciate it. Everybody, thank you all so much for being here, whether you're on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok. Thank you. I really appreciate it. My name's Otis Landerholm Immigration, A.P.C., where we fight for your American dream, and we'll see you next time on our next episode of the Empowered Immigrant Live. Thanks a lot. Take care. Bye-bye.